So as I was saying, Seeking Alpha goes on to say, is US Steel going back to their former glory? I don't think so. Now here's a situation where if you're looking to be an investor in US Steel and you've gone to Seeking Alpha, now you might not know the intricacies of fundamental analysis, as many of you don't out there looking to invest. You look upon surface information, but then you see, ooh, this guy must know what he's talking about. He actually has an interview with the chairman and the CEO of US Steel. This is great. So you go on to read what the chairman and CEO has to say, and the EVP and the CFO, and they go on to tell you. Now, what's a CEO going to tell you? They're going to tell you things look good in the future. We think that things are modestly getting better. We don't think that things are going to be so exciting. So they say things are okay. They don't want to overhype themselves, so they don't want to make expectations too high. If anything, they make expectations too low so then they could beat those expectations in the future. But that's not about what we're saying. So then it goes on and on and on, and there's a great article, and they talk about how steel demand's going to do this, steel demand's going to do that. Now, here you are, we're talking, then they go back into talking about EPS and PEs, comparing it to the other sectors. Now, as the layperson, this is information that you think is fantastic. This is what you want to read about. Comparisons, EBITDA. Oh, this is fantastic. But then there's the trader. You want to know something about the charts, volume, stochastics, Bollinger Bands, Elliott waves. You want to know about that, right? This guy doesn't say anything about that. Ah, yes. But just to prove how smart they are over at Seeking Alpha, here we go. Finally, the US Steel graph shows that this is a good time to get in on the short side in US Steel. And they show you a lovely picture of the graph. And here you are, trying to learn about all these Elliott waves and Bollinger Bands. And he carefully explains to you. The chart shows that the US Steel is at its upper Bollinger Band. A stock will normally reverse at that point. The Williams percent R indicator shows that it's overbought on the 30-day chart. It's also substantially above its 20-day and 50-day SMA lines. The SMA lines, you love those. It's far above its 200-day SMA line. It's due to come down. The money flow into US Steel is in a decreasing trend. Ooh, the money flow. And we all know about the money flow, how it's been pouring out of those mutual funds, sitting on the sidelines. The steel industry has been hyped for the last few weeks or more. Perhaps it's deserved some of the hoopla. However, US Steel executives do not even claim themselves that everything is about to explode into greatness again for US Steel. Of course they don't. So then it goes on and on and on. And then he goes into analysts, like we care about analysts. That they're saying this guy has a downgrade, this guy says it's selling. And then he gives my favorite part. It deserves a sell rating based on the current performance. Plus the future performance is very uncertain at best. I think I may have even made a case above for the outlook for US Steel is negative for the next year or more. Disclosure, I am short X, good luck trading. Now this is coming from one particular person that writes for Seeking Alpha. Maybe you follow a particular person that writes for this website, but in general, this is an article that not only would you want to run from US Steel, sell your stock, but he was suggesting that you short the stock, basically betting that it was going to go down on December 10th. Okay, now, obviously, you know the moral of the story is let's look at a chart from December 10th and see where we went on December 10th from today. Look at the chart today. The stock is around about 60. And what have I been doing? I've been only recommending that stock since 35. Told you to load up the boat at 40. And if it breaks 50, we're probably going to go to 60. And then I said I had to increase my valuation and go to 75. 75? Why did I say 75? Anyway, here's the bottom line. They know nothing. I know nothing. What I do know is that what I've learned over the last 15 or years trading is that, and if you haven't learned this yet, fundamental analysis and the stock, what it does on a daily basis, do not coincide. What the company even makes, what they do, how much money they make, what the CEO says, what the analyst says, none of that makes any sense. None of it will help you. All you need to know is about momentum and putting stops in, because when that momentum is over, that's when the stock will start reversing and go back the other way. All you need to know is you hang out at hitthebid.com with my crew, and I will alert you to these reversals. I will alert you to when to sell out of US Steel, not by reading these kind of articles to make you sway your decision. So let's go on. Let's go on to 13 more days later at Seeking Alpha, when the latest Q3 GDP data came out, and the downward revision may signal the end of the industrial rally. Stay tuned, because I'm going to get to that in a moment.